we're going to see 5 companies we specially selected for the VCs that are here in the room, and for all the public investors, corporates that are in the room too. This part of the event is going to be streamed online on Instagram. Do I have my presentation? In the meantime, I will reintroduce myself. I'm Daniel Salvucci. I'm part of Cygnus Capital. I have different hats, but mainly I am the director of Cygnus Angel Club. So my goal there is to educate new potential investors that want to introduce to this innovation scenario by investing, which is not the first or most important motivation, both on a formal way and on an informal way. This part of the event is organized of course, by Cygnus, by the Draper Venture Network that helped us, and the Draper University. You might have seen a stand with 2 guys showing about Draper University. We are going to launch a program for a scholarship to go to Draper University this year, so stay tuned. Unfortunately for you, you're going to see my face much more this year. I would like you to follow this, our social network. I will there try to give information in different ways. We're going to be making different communication experiments during this year, trying to explain what it's all about startups, technology, investing, etc. My main auditorium will be investors, but for entrepreneurs, it's like a sneak peek on our conversation. This is the fun part, so please vote. You're going to see great talent, great science-based talent, and enormous technology on display. These are all early-stage companies that are available for invest. If you want to invest, you just have to talk with them, because they are the companies, but you can talk with us also if you want to know a little bit more about that. And this is the great motto of Draper is do everything with gusto and enthusiasm. We try to have fun at the end of the day. It's people with people, human beings, talent. This is an industry not of money or investment. It's an industry of talent and good people with will to change the world. So I'm not going to talk anymore. I will just introduce the first company. This is going to be quick. They have 6-8 minutes each company. They're going to show you how great they are, and then you will decide who's the best. The first one, we'll introduce Alex Brill. Yeah, you can use this.
Thank you, Daniel, for the introduction. Let me grab the clicker. Well, I'm here to present to you SolarLatam. I'm Alex Brill, co-founder of the company. And what is this all about? We make it easy for you to go solar. Now, how do we do it, and what this means? Well, let me tell you the story of Miguel. Miguel, he owns a shop and a house, and he's always looking for the best way to become more cleaner and eco-friendly. Also, he looks each month to save money. That's why he drives an electric car. Now, as many of you here, always looks to take a step forward. So he believes now it's time to go solar. Now, for this process, he started looking for the best provider, for local providers, starting the quoting process, but it wasn't as easy as getting an electric car. So, after 90 days, he only received one quote that it didn't have a product fit of his needs, neither the financial alternative of his desire. So, he met with Tim, and being him, a smart guy, he told, you should meet SolarLatam. Now, SolarLatam is a company that was founded in 2016, now, that has already installed 3,000 panels, more than 30 success cases across the region, and since 3 months ago, launched an amazing platform that enables you to quote, design, and engineer your own installation 100% online. So Miguel, being a passionate guy for solar energy, grabbed his phone, visited our website, and started the process. The first thing he did was enter his location. Once he did that, he marked his roof. While he did that, SolarLatam processed his location, the available surface, and the irradiation data. Once we did that, we asked for him some basic information about his electricity bill. The next step, magic happened. A quote appeared. something that it used to take him 90 days, now it took him 5 minutes. What does this mean? Well, that he can now schedule a visit 100% online and complete the purchase process with the financing alternative of his best fit, all online. What does this mean in numbers? Well, we have reduced by 97% the time in which you can quote, execute the project, and purchase it online. So we are 97% more efficient than our competition, and this means also that we can increase by 100 times our funnel capabilities. We are now sending 100 times more proposals per day than we used before. So this is our main competitive advantage, but it's not the only one. To do this, we also have partnered with strategic partners such as Engineers Without Borders and iWannnaFix. With them, we are helping to train and certify installers across the region. Why we do this? Because we want to be sure to be able to offer the best service across the region. This brings up the next competitive advantage. We are the only company today that has execution capabilities across the region. We were born in Panama and quickly expanded across the region. Now, our business model is simple. We basically have many revenue streams for each one of our steps. From the design, finance, and installation process, we have one-time revenues, and for the operation and management, we got 25 years lifetime systems for which we got recurring revenues, both for the market B2C and B2B, being the commercial and industrial side and the residential sector. Now, what does this mean in numbers? Miguel is not alone. He's together with 4 million houses across the region that have solar potential, and also 500,000 commercial and industrial sector that could have solar rooftops and parkings. This means that there's a $45 billion market available. If we only take into account the early adopters, that is the market that we're going to address in the next 5 years, this means that we can start selling today to $2 billion market valuation. About our traction, well, since we were founded in 2016, we already sold $2 million in solar systems, and we're planning this year to sell $6 million. And to 5 years, we are trying to reach the goal of 100 million in sales per year. How are we going to do it? Well, we plan to do it with an amazing team. Our CEO and founder, Borja Peñalver, who learned a lot about this doing project finance in Chile for great solar parks. Our CSO, Chief Strategy Officer, and co-founder, Santiago Canija Bengolea. Our CFO and finance rockstar, Miguel Sánchez Bustamante. Our head of product, Marcos Soto-Ulloa, also a Draper alumni, and me as head of business development. So please, guys, be like Miguel, visit our website and quote your system 100% online now. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Alex. Sin más presentación, Sergio de Dynami.
Hi, my name is Sergio Baron, and we do ultra-thin lithium batteries, and I had an excellent speech, but now I'm super nervous because the State Secretary for Science of Argentina just mentioned us on his speech, so it will go wrong. So there's a new generation of devices like Internet of Things, medical and wearable devices that need batteries that are not in the market. They need special shapes and forms. So the batteries conform to the device and not vice versa. And this is a market that is growing exponentially. For example, the Internet of Things market will grow to up to 75 billion units in 2022. This creates a very large opportunity. We are tapping into this opportunity, making ultra-thin lithium batteries, fabrication processes that allow us to do fast prototyping and fast turnaround. Let's talk about our business model. We are a fabless battery maker. We create technology and models, and the customers come to us, and we adapt our technology. We provide a service for them, and then we fabricate these batteries using partners abroad, like in Asia. This creates two revenue sources. One is the engineering, and the other one is the markup from the battery making. And this also creates a high customer lock-in because our batteries are part of our customer devices. And since we have also a services and product system, this creates a very deep relationship with the client, and that creates lock-in with the client. Why this is important? Why this is important to innovate in the way that batteries are fabricated? Let's take, for example, this constant glucose meter. This constant glucose meter for diabetic patients has two main components inside: the microelectronic chips and the batteries. The chip is made in a 21st century automated foundry, like this one. And the battery is made in a roll-to-roll process that it has been invented at the beginning of the 20th century. The battery fabrication technology is lagging behind. But the battery fabrication technology is robust, but it's not flexible enough for the kind of market we are addressing. That is why we are creating technologies to improve this, like a digital deposition of electrodes using nanostructured inks, and also we created a patent-pending machine to assemble prototypes. And we have a progressive technology integration for this. We are starting serving our clients with the current fabrication technology and introducing our advanced technology of fabrication in the years to come. Let's talk about a little bit about our competition. We identified about 11 companies in the world that are in this space, and they have different capabilities, but they all have something in common. They want to have a use case for their chemistry, while we focus on providing the best battery solutions to our customers. We are a company headquarters in Bethesda, Maryland, and we have research and development laboratories here in Argentina at the Fundación Argentina of Nanotecnología. And why Argentina? That has to do with what the secretary said. It's the lithium. Since Argentina is becoming one of the largest lithium producers in the world, we have a network of 7 laboratories that are financed by the Argentine government, by these guys here, that produce science and technology in batteries, and they also create, as a second-order benefit, a large pool of talent that we are already using. Since the 2 years we have been founded, we have achieved many things. We have been incubated and received funding from the Fundación Argentina de Nanotecnología. We have established relationships with the most prestigious research institutions in Argentina. We completed an MVP, being featured in major media, acquired INVAP as a client. INVAP is a large technology company in the south of Argentina. We were granted a provisional patent from the USPTO, and we performed a very successful talent acquisition process here in Argentina and in the US. And we also won the Argentina Ministry of Science Innova 2018 prize and incorporated in Delaware, USA. We have an open seed round, and with the proceeds, we're gonna execute this plan of having 2 new patents on Dynami fabrication technology filed in incumbent countries, 2 new sizable clients of 1 to 5 million batteries per month, and qualified 2 new Asian fabrication partners. To do this, we have a very powerful team. I am the CEO. I hold a Master's of Science from the University of Maryland, where I worked on lithium, and I've been financed by the Department of Energy of the US, and also I have my undergrad from the University of La Plata. Diego is our industrial specialist with over 20 years of experience in industrialization. Tom is a high-tech marketing veteran with 30 years of marketing experience. Julio is our head of sales. He's an engineer with experience on the energy and telecom market. Fabian is a chemist who leads our laboratory work. Brent Goldfarb is our strategist, and he's a professor of University of Maryland and a PhD in economics from Stanford University. And Carlos Kaplan is our IP and deal structuring specialist. He holds an LLM from Duke University. We are Dynami, the infinite shapes of energy. We provide services and products that are strategic for the electronics industry. We are in an open round, and we hope you to accompany us on the road, to come together with us on the road. So thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. And now, Diego from Entelai.
Please give me a second. I'm not feeling very well now. Hi, Doc. I have a terrible headache. Yes, as always, it's bilateral. No, my eyes are not hurting. Oh, great. So 200 foot in 2 hours, the pills. Thank you. Yes, sure. Next week, Tuesday, I'll go to Dr. Fares' appointment. Thank you. I'm ready to start. How many of you would like to have experience like this with the health system? I'm Diego Fernandez Leza, co-founder of Entelai, the company that will bring artificial intelligence to the next level. So we identify 4 main challenges in the health system now: access, cost, precision, and of course, the access to the millennials. If we talk about access, there's a very well-known problem about medical doctors around the world. Except in the main cities, in most places, there's a lack of medical doctors. And this turns in more or less 50 days of average waiting time, for example, in the US, for the first appointment with a specialist. If we talk about cost, the total expenditures per year per capita in US, it's around 10K. And one would say, okay, 10K, 50 days, I will get correct results. The answer is no. Between 10% and 20% of diagnosed have errors in USA. And this costs more or less $750 billion per year only in US. And more importantly, 250K deaths per diagnostic errors in US per year. So, in summary, you pay 10K, you wait 50 days, and if you're lucky, you get the correct answer 80% of the times. So this just doesn't work. What about millennials? Tell this to millennials. They want everything, the couch, with the phones, whatever they want, they do it just with the phones in their hands. So how can we get to them? We founded Entelai to solve these problems. And these problems we solve with 2 different solutions. On the first case, we use AI to support medical decisions. The second one, we support AI solutions to change communication between patients and the health system. So the traditional health system, you get a first appointment, a patient wants a first appointment, goes to a doctor, one-to-one model, classical one. Our proposal, we call it Entelai Doc. It's a virtual agent that talks to the patient that wants a first appointment and can ask for further studies, can analyze the information, can process that and give a preliminary result to the medical doctor so that when the patient gets to the doctor, it already has a full picture with augmenting information. We set this Entelai Doc as a proxy between the patient and the medical doctor. This is a complete change in the health system. So we started with a very simplified case, image analysis and reporting. Instead of patient, we have images. And the medical doctors in this case are image specialists, radiologists. We created, in agreement with Novartis, Entelai Peak, a solution that automatically analyzes the full image and produces a standardized report that the medical doctors can use to give the final diagnosis. How it works, it just connects to the image server, process the image, and give it in a very standardized way, very easy way to the radiologist to use it in their final report. We tested this last year, and we found that we can reduce the reading times more than 90%. And incredibly, the precision went up for 40%. So we do it faster and better. What about the cost of all this software solution? Well, a brain MRI costs, in average, $1,000. $200 of that 1,000 goes to the reporting phase. With our solution, this cost can be reduced to only 5. That means a 20% approximately of reduction of the total cost. This is just a simplified scenario and can look very simple, but this is a very good business itself. In the world, we produce 400 million brain MRIs. So this is a really interesting addressable market. What about next? This was the simplified scenario. We are now with the Entelai Doc MVP, Entelai Doc, the full solution. Again, with Novartis, we are deploying our solution in 6 centers around the country, in the waiting rooms, in the headache appointments. So patients get there, they use our solution, and the answer from that interaction between the patient and our solution gets immediately to the medical doctor, with the scales and with artificial intelligence that can suggest different treatments or different diagnoses so that the medical doctor can be more efficient and more productive. Our roadmap. We started last year with our Entelai Peak product, our simplified scenario. This year we are testing our Entelai Doc MVP and our product. And we are planning next year for the LATAM expansion and 2021 for worldwide. Who knows where we will be in 2022 with Tesla. The team, we are doing this with a lot of effort. I'm PhD in computer science from University of Buenos Aires and IBM, Research Institute in New York. I received awards from IBM, Microsoft, and Google for my AI work. The co-founder of Entelai, Mauricio Fares, the CEO, he is a neurologist working at FLENI, one of the main institutions here in Argentina. He has a public health master in Harvard, and a great team of deep learning expert data scientists, PhD in physics and master in computer science. Macarena is over there, our operations, and a bunch of advisors in medical, legal, and financial stuff. There's a classical myth, and nowadays we hear it all the time, about that AI will completely replace us. It will take out our jobs, medical doctors included. We actually say that this is not true. It won't take all jobs. However, medical doctors that stand on the shoulder of AI, that use AI in their everyday practice, for sure will replace doctors who don't. So, will you join us? Thank you very much.
Les presento ahora, gracias Diego, a Nacho de Epic Aerospace.
So, hi guys. Just gonna wait up on the presentation now. Do I have to go forward? Yes. Okay. Done so. So anyways, my name's Ignacio. I'm the CEO and founder of Epic Aerospace. And our mission is to provide dedicated launches for small satellites at breakthrough prices. As you guys know, over the last 10 years, satellites have gotten a lot smaller, from Skyloom to Satellogic to almost any company in the world. You're looking at satellites that can be made cheaper, better, and smaller with new technology. And I mean, there's been some real growth. We are looking at going from 50 satellites a year to 500 last year in just half a decade. And this brings about a problem, really. And the question is, how are we going to get these many satellites into space? These satellites are 1,000 times smaller, but they need to fly 10 times more regularly. And what we're trying to do is solve this. So currently, small satellites are basically bound to wherever a large rocket's going. They don't get to pick where they go, when they fly, and they're limited in supply and just how many launches they can actually achieve. And we're looking at, new companies like Skyloom, like Astranis, Odyssey, that are trying to build smaller satellites that go to even more unique destinations. So the reality is that the current way in which satellites access space is going to radically change. You're looking at least an $8 billion opportunity that's going to open up within half a decade, and it's going to be dominated by entirely new players. So the solution's twofold, and we're working on both of them. On the one hand, we're working on a space access solution to get satellites like Satellogics into space 4 times cheaper than ever before. And at the same time, we're building in-space infrastructure to get any satellite to any destination 10 times faster than currently possible. So the first part of our plan is building a rocket. I mean, it all starts there. And this rocket's called Chimera, and its entire objective is to provide small satellites with a 4 times cheaper way to access space. So how do we do it? Well, we start off just looking at the market for small satellites. So back in 2013, when some of the small rocket companies started to pop up, the market was trending towards 200 kilos. What we see today is that the perfect or the sweet spot size for a rocket is in the 0 to 90 kilogram range. That basically lets us be just 2 times smaller than anyone else and still have over 80% of the market. And this leads to a number of decisions, what we call a technological snowball, that then lets us actually achieve that tremendous price reduction. So from the first point, we're targeting a 2 times smaller payload mass. And that allows us to put the rocket under an airplane a lot easier. That basically increases efficiency by a number of ways. But it does require a number of things. It requires a very low complexity vehicle. It requires a particular fuel that's not what NASA uses, that's all the time boiling off, so liquid oxygen. It requires a non-cryogenic fuel that's storable, that's easy to handle. And that's one of the developments that we had to face. And you make all those decisions and you bunch all those things up and you end up with essentially 4 times smaller rocket than the nearest competitor for 80% the same market size. That's doable within the talent that we have here in Argentina and with a lot less capital expenditure. So one of those decisions is launching from below an airplane. I just want to give you some more depth onto it. The first private rocket ever to make it into orbit was actually launched from an airplane. And I mean, it's proven technology, but you do need a fuel that lends itself easily to doing so. And it basically just gives you 2 advantages. A, you can launch without infrastructure or with very little infrastructure. And B, it allows you to reduce the size of your vehicle because you're launching 50,000 feet above the Earth. You've already gone over 90% of the atmosphere and you've just gained an entire, basically just a 3x in size. This whole approach, at least just for our space access solution, translates into us being able to be just 2 times cheaper on a price basis and 4 times cheaper on a cost basis than our competitors. And to take basically the EBITDA that we take from every launch and turn it into just organic scaling of the production. It's a low complexity vehicle, which means you don't need to scale up your own factories. You just need to tell your suppliers to make more and you just assemble them. And this lets us get to a very high launch cadence, which is what matters the most to small satellite companies, the quickest. So about the team, I'm 20 years old. I dropped out of Stanford to do this. I've always been extremely passionate about space. I think it's one of the most amazing industries in the world. But it's not just that, it's also the fact that systems in aerospace are extremely coupled. You can find and exploit technological advantages if you just look at something from a clean slate and have the ability to analyze it. And it's not just me. We brought in a number of experts from ex-CONAIE people who have decades of experience in the aerospace launch field. So Ezekiel, who's a systems engineer and basically the first person to join the company. Ricardo, who's our head of structures, he's got 15 years experience in the aerospace field. And each one of these people can bring in more people to the team, which is what really matters. Skyloom's a great example of how you grow a team from 4 to 17 people in just a couple of months. And we think we're set to do that. And we also have world-renowned aerospace advisors from Satellogics, Emiliano Carhuman, who can speak for the value that we're going to provide. And I mean, we've gone through the entire documentation of everything we're going to do. 2 professors from Stanford, people from Israel Aerospace, which is interested in some of the technology. So we have a core team that's very solid, that's very scalable. And we're doing at least the initial part of the development here in Argentina. As you guys know, Argentina's got basically a lot of fame in the aerospace field in Latin America and around the world. We built large satellites, large rockets, and there's just an extreme pool of talent that we can access very quickly. At the same time, Argentina has very clear airspace, and it's got infrastructure that we can use that's already been built up and that the hard work's being done by the government. And in essence, Argentina is perfect for this, at least the initial part. So with regards to actual development, I started off not just wanting to make this a PowerPoint presentation, at least not a year ago, and I decided to build a suborbital vehicle to basically test every single element that we need to get to orbit, so the engines, the avionics, everything else. And I built it at a friend's house in Los Altos Hills with some of my tuition money. I got FAA approval to launch it, had to file a lot of documentation, and unfortunately they only gave me 3 hours to do it, wasn't able to. And in the meantime, before I was just before trying to get the other permit to do it again, I decided it was time to test the engine that we needed to launch into orbit. And so I went to an Airbnb, stayed over for the summer, spent some more money on it, and built it, took it out to the Mojave, tried to test it once, blew up, tried to test it twice, blew up again, and the third time it actually worked and got the data that I wanted. And yeah, so this is basically the route for the development that we're going ahead with. We've already raised a significant amount of capital, and within the next 6 months, we're going to be launching a rocket into space, and we're also going to be retesting much of the core technology that we need to prove out. And at the same time, we have a very well-refined plan for getting to our first launch, and also a very interesting long-term vision. So new companies want to launch into very unique orbits. So Astranis, Skyloom, companies that want to go to very high geostationary with a small satellite. And the reality is they're not going to get there by hitching a ride on a large rocket. They're just not going to have the capability. So we're looking at building in-space infrastructure for basically sending any rocket or any satellite to any destination. You can think of it kind of like the bird of space transportation. SpaceX reuses the first stage of the rocket. We want to reuse the second stage of the rocket in space. And I'm not going to give more detail into this because it's just, it's very our stuff and no one else is doing it. About us, we've raised a couple $100,000. We just got into StartX, which is Stanford's accelerator / community program. They don't know what to call it. And we're basically going to be testing 80% of the technology that we need to get into orbit. And we're going to have a very solid core team that's going to let us go to, I'm thinking 100 people within the next 2 years if we really choose to. And I think it's a unique opportunity. So if any of you wants to join the project, wants to talk about it, anything, just let me know. Thanks.
Thanks, Nacho. And last but not least, Max from MoneyOnChain.
Thank you for the opportunity to show you how we are going to change the world. My name is Maximiliano Carjusá. I am co-founder and CEO of MoneyOnChain. In MoneyOnChain, we are taking Bitcoin to the mainstream. How? We are going to fix its volatility. And we are allowing people to use Bitcoin in a day-to-day basis, nominated in the local currency. Let me show you a small video about our company.
Bitcoin has revolutionized money by making it possible for us to do things that would once have been unthinkable. For the first time ever, a form of money became available whose supply was fixed and predictable. Bitcoin enabled fast and secure peer-to-peer transactions that eliminated the need for a trusted third party. All over the world, traders, businesses, investors, and savers have started using Bitcoin. But there are countless more ways it could be used. MoneyOnChain harnesses this unrealized potential. The supply of Bitcoin is limited and the market is small, so prices fluctuate dramatically. This attracts speculative investors, which makes prices even more volatile and limits what Bitcoin can be used for. Our platform includes all of Bitcoin's core features, so it is counterparty risk-free and censorship-resistant. There are plenty of stablecoins on the market, but ours is unique. It's the only stablecoin in the world that uses Bitcoin as collateral and is secured by Bitcoin miners. The stablecoin we've designed is called the DollarOnChain, or DOC. The Bitcoin collateral behind it can be used in two ways. Bitcoin holders can buy BPRO tokens. Risk seekers and traders can make leveraged Bitcoin operations. The price of the DollarOnChain is pegged to the US dollar. The DOC is a way around the volatility of Bitcoin and can be used for trading or as a stablecoin for smart contract operations like loans and insurance deals. Our BPRO token makes the DollarOnChain stable by absorbing its volatility and sharing it among other users who are interested in leveraged Bitcoin operations. Sharing the leverage gives BPRO holders a passive income. Traders and speculators will be able to make leveraged Bitcoin operations at a low cost. The whole system will be a decentralized, autonomous organization governed by the holders of the MoneyOnChain token. The system will run on RSK, the network of smart contracts, guaranteed by Bitcoin miners. MoneyOnChain was created for Bitcoiners, by Bitcoiners, because we know that there is no better guarantee than Bitcoin. MoneyOnChain, backed by Bitcoin, powered by RSK.
Okay. Well, the problem that we are fixing is Bitcoin volatility. How are we fixing this? Well, we have developed a bunch of products for different crypto needs. For example, we have the DollarOnChain, that is a stable coin. This will be our first stable asset. After the DollarOnChain, we are going to have the Peso on chain, the Euro on chain, the Yen on chain, etc. Then we have a token that is called the BitPro. The BitPro is like a dream came true for Bitcoin holders because it's allowed Bitcoin holders to earn a passive income in the Bitcoin position. Then we have a derivative exchange to make leverage Bitcoin operations, to bet in the price of Bitcoin going up or down with leverage. And then we have token exchange to trade or exchange any token running on the RSK network. How does this work? Well, the BitPro brings volatility, gives stability to the DollarOnChain, and the DollarOnChain gives the volatility to the BitPro. Then the BitPro sells that volatility to the derivative exchange, and in return, the BitPro gets a passive income. What will our project enable? Well, we are fixing a couple of current problems in the crypto world today. For example, you can use the DOC to fund a company, to make an ICO, to make a crowdfunding. The BitPro, as I already said, is like a dream came true for Bitcoin holders. But the most interesting thing is what this will enable in the future. Imagine financial inclusion. Imagine a boy in the Janty town buying a book over the internet without credit card. Imagine the father of that boy, who is a designer with no bank account, selling his work to someone in Europe. Imagine international trade instantly secure with no cost. Imagine peer-to-peer loan systems. Imagine peer-to-peer payment system. Our roadmap. We started developing this in January 2018. We spent 8 months developing our mathematical model. Believe me, it wasn't easy. And after that, we started developing our MVP. We have an MVP ready, running on the RSK testnet, and we are planning to launch this MVP fourth quarter this year. For mid next year, we are going to launch a fully operational product. Here you can see a couple of screenshots of our current system. This is the main screen of the stable asset platform. This is the token exchange. This is a very important screen for us because here you have some metrics of the system. The system will be, as I said, it will be trustless with no counterparty risk, and everything will work in a fully decentralized way. So transparency is very important for us. The metrics of the system will be open to everybody to check in real time. Well, to finalize, I want to invite you, all of you, to join us taking Bitcoin to the mainstream and changing the life of billions of people. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Let's give a very big applause to all these founders, startups, great entrepreneurs.